You guys are ready to go this morning. I like it. Let me know if you guys can hear me well. John, good morning. John is definitely the early bird this morning. Rick, good morning. Great to see you this morning. Iron Bean Coffee. Cheers. That's a great way to start off the morning. Got a little freshly ground Thor in my cup this morning. Dave, good morning. No problem at all, Dave. How you doing, Mark? Good to see you this morning. Harley, good morning, brother. I know Harley's tired. He cooked all weekend long this weekend. Stephen, good morning. Tom, good morning. Mark, that's awesome. That looked like a good race. We watched it on TV last night. Looked pretty good. Looked like a good race. I hear you, Harley. Be careful this morning. Looks like we got some bad weather coming. Yeah, I stayed up late watching it too, Stephen. All right, guys. Well, let's go ahead and get going. We got a nice crowd this morning. Today, Larry, good morning. Gavin, good day, mate. Working night shift now, 2.5 hours into a 12-hour shift. Well, don't work too hard, Gavin, but do the job right, and I'm sure you will. Good morning, Mike. Well, first, Rick, you let us know whenever we can get started. We hadn't even known when we could get started on our shows, Rick, because you weren't here, but Kip took over the duties for the last show or two. Whenever old Rick's ready, we'll get going. Glad to see old Rick back. Just keep piddling. All right, let's do it. Today is April 14th. It's just flying right on by, ain't it? Flying right on by. Weather today, 71 degrees right now, but it's 90% chance of rain today. Definitely be here by 3 o'clock. And it looks like it's going to be rough. They had some tornadoes in Texas and Mississippi. Last night, I think they had about 5 people die, and it's coming this way. So looks like it's going to be pretty rough. I'm going to check on one thing. That thing looks crooked. I don't know if that made it any better or not. Probably not. Yeah, that's a little better. It is. It's flying right on by. Only have 5 weeks left of school and we'll be out for the summer. I'm ready for that. 2.8 inches of rain in 1 hour yesterday. Wow. We'll do it, Mike. Yeah, the Masters, they had to change their whole schedule up, didn't they? The weather's coming. It's definitely coming. So yesterday, first of all, I'm going to cook some ribs today. I got a rack of ribs from Butcher Box that I had in the freezer, so I took it out last night. I'm going to throw it on and do that, and some jalapeno poppers. And we've got some leftover corned beef from Friday night's cook. Turned out pretty good. So, Mike, I am about 2 hours, hour and a half or so from Augusta. Yeah, I just got a weather alert on my phone just now about that kind of thing. So if you're in the South, anywhere down here, you guys just be safe. So I'm gonna cook ribs today and just kind of hang out. It looks like it's going to be nasty and windy today too. So, I did a corned beef video Friday night, and some of you, I think, caught my little impromptu live feed on that. It turned out good, but I don't really recommend the pre-packaged corned beef, pre-brined very much. They're just not really good quality. So even though it got up to like 205 degrees or so, it just still wasn't as tender as I thought it was going to be. But still, the flavor still turned out great. That blackened Saskatchewan that I got from Harley, the Traeger blackened Saskatchewan, that rub was perfect for that. Really good flavor on that. So I did that, and I was going to do the editing yesterday, and man, I was busy all day long yesterday, and I'll talk about that more in a minute. But I didn't get to editing the video, so I'll probably do that sometime today, since it's going to be raining. But also Friday night, I cooked and I didn't even really look to see how much it weighed, but it was a boneless pork butt that I got from Butcher Box. And that's one of the things I wanted to talk about this morning is boneless versus bone-in, such as, it could be steaks, it could be pork chops, it could be even chicken breasts, chicken thighs, pork butts. But, I told Brandy last night and I just made some barbecue with it, chopped it up and made barbecue with it, and it was good. But it just didn't, it was missing something. And I think it was because it was boneless. That bone just does something to add flavor to the meat, in my opinion, no matter what it is. You take a boneless pork chop and then you throw a bone-in pork chop, and to me, that bone-in pork chop tastes better. So it was good, but I just prefer a bone-in pork butt. So y'all let me know what y'all think. I think it does, Mike. I think it adds flavor. Even ribeyes, I think that bone adds flavor. Edwards, I love that name. Edwards Sister's Hands. I love it. I want a pit barrel cooker, but my girlfriend is pushing for a ceramic egg type smoker. Thoughts? Well, the first thing is the pit barrel cooker versus a ceramic egg type smoker. The difference in cost is going to be about $1,000. So that's the first thing. I say $1,000. Between $500 and $1,000. Let's say that. 500 plus dollars. So that would be the first thing, the cost difference. And then you've got to ask yourself, okay, let's say, for example, if I pay $700 more for a ceramic cooker, am I going to get $700 worth of flavor difference from the pit barrel cooker and that ceramic cooker? And the answer to that for me is no. With that being said, I think the ceramic is probably a little bit more versatile as far as high temp grilling capabilities. You can still grill on the pit barrel cooker, don't get me wrong, but you can, get really high temps with a ceramic. But if I had to choose between the two, I would definitely probably go with the pit barrel cooker, unless money's not an issue. So that's kind of now if she wants to pick up the tab on the other remaining bill, then hey, get whatever you want. John, most women do, Edward. Mike Tabor, we have a winner, pit barrel. And yeah, I agree with that. And that's what I'm saying. If you get a extra large, and really it's going to be close. The price difference is going to be unreal. Edward, let us know what you come up with, what you get, and what your thoughts are on what you got. Mike, the ceramic eggs, I mean, they do hold heat really well, and once you get them to the temp that you want them, they'll sustain heat really well. And you can also get them up to, I mean, Harley has gotten his up to 800-900 degrees, and you can do that fairly easily on those ceramics. So that's one of the things about it. The other thing is they're pretty efficient as far as burning charcoal, especially if using lump charcoal, which is what I would recommend for a ceramic. After you get through with your cook, you can close down those vents and it'll shut down fairly quickly. And then the next time that you want to cook something, you open your lid up and look down in there. Whatever charcoal you had left, you can start using for your next cook. So you don't waste a whole lot of charcoal, if you manage it well like that. So I would like to have a ceramic. I'd like to have a Kong, to be honest with you. But it's just not in the budget at this moment. And the ceramics are really good for pizzas, and it's going to be a more traditional wood-fired pizza that is quick, less than 5 minutes and it's done, but really high temp. Really good if you make your homemade crust. Good question. That was a good question. So I'll try to get the video uploaded today for the corned beef brisket. Actually, the video turned out pretty decent. So why didn't I get the video uploaded? I haven't tried that, Stephen. There's some things that I've tried on keto that are supposed to be like mimicking the real thing, you know, like a cheese taco crust, for example. And that was pretty decent, you know. But cauliflower crust, I would just rather not eat pizza than try one of those, to be honest with you. Some of the stuff that they make up and it's supposed to be like what you used to eat that was carb filled. I have tried, and you know, you watch their videos and they say, "Oh man, it's so good," and you can't tell the difference. That's a bunch of crap. For the most part, I haven't found too many things that we used that have replaced something else that was actually good. But the reason why I didn't get a chance to edit the video was because I was working on signs all day. I ended up cutting 40 feet, I think, of signs, but they turned out good. And that's exactly right, Larry. Yeah, near beer is no beer. But guys, the signs are up on the website as of right now, as of last night. So get on the website, www.juspiddlinbbq.com, and check them out. Pick you one out if you like something. And if you like one of the signs, but you want it changed up a little bit and want your name on it or whatever, just send me a message and we'll get it worked out. Several different color combinations and all that. This is just a natural wood Grilla Grill sign. I listed the grills on there, and like this barbecue sign right here. This one's black, but I kind of distressed it a little bit with the yellow barbecue. So they turned out really good. I've got, I don't know, 15, 20 more out there to do. I've got to order some more vinyl and some more transfer paper and all that. But I think they turned out really good. This one up here, this temperature guide, I've got one in black and I've got one in orange. And I'll have some more color combinations of those too. So I think they turned out pretty good. I appreciate that, Stephen. Thank you. So what if we took a pit barrel and wrapped it in R40 rock wool insulation? Then we had a smoke generator. Then there needs to be some beer in there somewhere, Mike. I also got the hats in, but I'm waiting on the patches. And then we'll have to put them on, and then I'll post those. Although I've already got 4, I think. I ordered 12, and 4 of them are already spoken for, so that means there's only going to be 8 for me to post. But we'll get there. We'll get there. Also, and I'm sure some of you already noticed from Friday and all that, I have a new toy, a Traeger Pro 780. That's what I cooked that corned beef brisket on. Good morning, John. Yeah, it was John. That attendance at Bristol was way down. Mark, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. I'll see what I can do. I might work on that today. Great idea. But that Traeger Pro 780, very impressed with that thing. Very impressed with it so far. I've still got to do a review on that. And like I say, what I did yesterday, and I seem to be doing it a lot lately, is I put too much on my plate yesterday. I was going to do some signs, I was going to edit the video, and I was going to do a review video of the 780. And only one of those three got done yesterday, but doing those signs takes up a lot of time. So, but cooking on that 780, really impressive. Like I say, I'm going to do a full review on it, but and I'll say this, and you guys know because I've talked about it several times, and sometimes this is just the case. But I have been against. I don't really want to say against. I have kind of fought. You know how people, when computers come out, I ain't getting one of those computers, or social media, I ain't getting on one of those things, and then they finally ease into it and get on one of them, or whatever, cell phones or whatever. And I have fought against the Wi-Fi stuff and all that. But I have to say, using that Wi-Fi the last couple of days on that Pro 780 has been fun. It has really been fun. And really amazing too. Strange. Like a barbecue joint. I'm working on it, man. I'm working on it. I got a few more signs and stuff like that, but I'm working on it. But that controller, first of all, the construction, top to bottom on the new Traegers they have stepped their game up. I think they've had to step their game up. Because, to be honest with you, I think they were falling behind a little bit. Yeah, Tom, it's hard for me to believe too. But I got the grill and it's got Wi-Fi, so I thought, let me try it and see what it's all about and see what it'll do and see if there's an advantage for it and that kind of stuff. And but they have really stepped their game up, and I'm impressed. I think they're finally getting to where, for me, no live support, Tom. That's one thing I'm not going to do. But if you own a Grilla Silverbac, for example, and you know what you paid for it and you know how it's built, it was hard for me past couple years to get a Traeger and look at it and feel it and think the price difference and all that. But now the build quality is better. The controller is insane. The controller is insane. You can program cooks on it. You can customize cooks, name them. It has a turbo temp, which means when you start it up, it cranks the fan all the way up as high as it'll go, feeds those pellets in there, and it gets up to temp quickly. It also adjusts temps quickly. For example, if you want to reverse sear something and you start off at, say, 250, and then you want to crank it up to 400, 500, whatever, 450, it takes no time to get it up to that higher temp. Really, really impressed with it. You can set alarms for when it gets to a certain internal temp, or anything like that. You can set it to where after 2 hours at 250, you want to bump it up to 350. It'll do it automatically once you get it set. So I've just been impressed with it. So I'll go over all of the features, when I do my review, but just want to talk to you about that for a minute. And really cool. Really cool. I'm really impressed with that new Traeger line. Debating to buy a Grilla Grills Silverbac Alpha Smoke model. To be honest with you, I would, if I was going to purchase one, I'd go ahead and get the Alpha Smoke if it were me. Edward, great to have you this morning. Let us know what you decide on. Crazy Pop, good morning. Good morning. What else? Probably will be getting in a chimp probably midweek to try out and review. And so you'll be getting my honest review on that. I actually did some homework yesterday, first part of yesterday morning. I came in here, sat down with some coffee, iron bean coffee, and just did some homework on the competitors' tailgaters. And y'all know I've already done a review on the Traeger Tailgater. I've got it. That's what I took to Bristol with. It's a good little tailgater. Crazy Pop, he did use the Vegemite and did a great job incorporating it into that recipe. I was impressed with that. I still would have liked for him to taste it straight away though. Just plain unadulterated Vegemite, but really appreciate Greg doing that and giving me a shout out on his channel. And now it's headed to Russ over at Smoky Ribs, and we'll see what he does with it. So that'll be fun. But this, Mike, that's I'm glad you mentioned that. On that Wi-Fi, it asks you, you can name your grill. So Brandy was out there the other day when we were out there messing with it, and I said, "Baby, what do you want to call it?" And she called the that Pro 780 Sweet Thing. So that one's called Sweet Thing. The Timberline is going to be Boss Man. We came up with a name for the Silverbac. I think that was going to be the Ball Player. And the Traeger Tailgater going to be Little Man, and the Chimp is going to be Clyde. Kind of like in the old Dirty Harry. What is it? Dirty Harry. Right Turn Clyde. So we're going to name that Clyde, even though that was a orangutan. But yeah, that's a good one too, Mike. I have trouble with port loin not being real tender. Smoked 225, 250 to 145. Any ideas? Melvin, I'll be honest with you. If you cook a tenderloin to 145, and it depends on what you mean by tender. If you mean kind of like a pork butt tender, it's not going to be that tender at 145. It's going to be, it'll be juicy at 145, and it'll be done perfectly temp wise at 145, especially if you let it rest a little bit. But me personally, what I have found is if you want it tender, you have to cook it to a little bit higher temperature. And if you really want it tender, after it gets up to about 145, if you'll wrap it for, or, even, 125, 130, if you'll wrap it tinfoil, that tinfoil wrapping will get it a little more tender. So give that a try. But I just think, cooking it to 145, you haven't cooked it long enough to break down those fibers and tissues to make it tender like you're talking about. And again, it also has to deal with the quality of meat that you're getting too. Just with the butcher box, I know with the pork chops anyway, I can tell a huge difference in cooking the pork chops that we cook from butcher box, because they're a lot more tender, they're a lot juicier than the stuff that I get from the grocery store. Exactly what Chad said, wrap in aluminum foil. And that's going to hold in those juices. It's going to cause a little bit of steam, almost a braise type deal. You can add a little bit of liquid in there if you want to. And just, but I would wrap it really tight with foil, and that's going to get it tender for you. Check tenderness at 180. That's what Harley said. Because again, that tenderness is going to come from getting that temp high enough and long enough to break down those connective tissues. That's a good question, though. And you are right. It is hard to get anything tender at 145. Can you get thick cut bone-in pork chops from Butcher Box? Rick, to be honest with you, I haven't looked. I can tell you what I have gotten from Butcher Box, and that is boneless pork chops, but they are thick. And I've gotten two different packages. One said pork chops and one said boneless ribs, but I couldn't tell the difference. They looked exactly the same. They were really round, and what I think they were talking about, the boneless ribs, is really country style ribs, but at the grocery store they've been cut into strips. These were still kind of pork chop shaped. So what I did with those is I took some butcher twine and tied them off into a round consistent shape and grilled them that way. But they were thick. I mean, when I say thick, they were probably 1.5 inches thick, and were amazing. I'm not sure if you can get bone in or not. I really haven't looked, but I would think you probably can. Do you inject a pork loin since they are so lean? I don't think that I have ever injected a pork loin, to be honest with you, Mike. I may be wrong. I may have injected one once a long time ago, but otherwise I don't. Good morning, Matt. Matt, I sent you an email. Did you get my email? I don't usually inject a pork loin. Here's the other thing. Sometimes I feel like with the pork loin and pork tenderloin, I feel like sometimes people use those terms interchangeably as if they're the same piece, but they're not the same piece. That pork tenderloin is a lot smaller, a lot thinner, and traditionally is going to be a little more tender than a regular whole loin. So be sure that you don't get those mixed up. Awesome, Matt. Good man. I appreciate that. But Mike, you are right. They are lean. I have stuffed them, and Harley stuffs his a lot with, I think I stuffed mine one time with cream cheese and spinach. Harley has stuffed his with apples sometimes. You can stuff them with sausage. And really, Mike, you stuff them with sausage, that's going to add a little bit of fat to it. So that might work out good. And wrap it a little bacon. Definitely seen tenderloins like that. And around here, Mike, those tenderloins, I can buy a whole pork loin, not tenderloin, but whole pork loin that's that long. I mean, for really nothing, $1.99 a pound or something, maybe less. And so I cut it in half. I can cook that whole loin, and then cut the other ones into thick, boneless pork chops. So I love seeing those things at the grocery store. Really, 65 yesterday and snow this morning. Wow, that's crazy. That is crazy. Harley, you on the road? By the way, Harley, he did a lot of cooking this weekend. He cooked with Diva Q with Traeger Grills up in Duluth, Georgia. They did a couple of barbecue classes and stuff like that. Cooked all kind of cool stuff, and so that was pretty cool. Did some Instagram live stuff and all that. Good stuff. Absolutely, Mike. Throw a little sausage inside and some bacon on the outside. Now you've got some fat in that baby. But yeah, I did some homework yesterday on the other people's tailgaters. I did some homework on the Green Mountain Grill tailgater, the Rectech tailgater, Camp Chef tailgater. One other one I thought. Oh, the Traeger Tailgater, of course. And, it was interesting, seeing the price differences, the different options, everybody's different takes on how to do the legs, those kinds of things. What temp would you cook that wrapped pork loin at? Rick, I'd probably cook it at 250, maybe 275, but probably depends on how quickly you want it done. But 250 to 275. Well, hold on. Would you cook that wrapped pork loin? If it's bacon, I would cook it at 275 or higher, 275, 300. That way, that bacon's going to get nice and crisp and not chewy. Yeah, Rick, to me, I think if it's got the bacon on it, I'd go to at least 275. But yeah, it was interesting. The biggest thing that was interesting about the all the tailgaters that I looked at yesterday, nobody, one guy, but mostly nobody, none of the actual companies. Yeah, Pit Boss has a tailgater. Wants to even attempt to do a video where when they show you their tailgater that they're actually extending the legs. Nobody wants to do that. And the reason is because it's a pain in the butt. Most of the designs, I take that back. Green Mountain Grill did extend their legs. And you know, that little design that they have is a pretty good design. However, even with the legs put down on their tailgater, that thing is like maybe waist high. You know, I mean, you would break your back flipping burgers on that thing. And Harley mentioned Pit Boss. I was at Walmart this weekend, and I bet Pit Boss had 15 grills in there, different sizes. They've got one grill that's, I mean, that thing's that long. One part's pellet, I think. One part's charcoal. One part's, I mean, I don't know. But then when you go over there and knock on it, you knock on the barrel, I mean, it sounds like a tin can. And, you know, and I'm not really knocking it if that's, you know, if that's what you're looking for and that's in your price range. I think it's going to produce some good food. But what me and Harley were talking about the other day is, if I'm a grill company, there's two different thoughts, in my opinion. You know, it's kind of like I used to sell cars long time ago. Long time ago. Early 90s. And, you know, there's really two kinds of car lots. A car lot that wants to make, you know, a little bit of money on their cars, wants repeat business, you know, tries to do things the right way. And then there's the high volume dealers where, you know, they may not make much money at all on a car, but they're going to sell twice as many cars because they're selling for dirt cheap. But they're also trying to steal people's trade-ins and gouge them on the back end and the front end and all that stuff. And because of that, they're not getting much repeat business back, you know, that kind of thing. Before I had a conscience, that's right. It's the same thing with grills, you know. And, you know, like Grilla Grill, for example, not going in the Costco's and Walmarts and stuff like that. In my opinion, that's smart on their part. You know, like Pit Boss going into Walmart. I understand why they're going into Walmart, because they're going to sell a ton of grills in Walmart. They're going to sell a ton of grills in Walmart at a very cheap price. But there's nobody in Walmart. There's not a Pit Boss person in Walmart telling you what the startup procedure is, telling you the ins and outs of a pellet grill. Some of these people that are buying Pit Boss pellet grills in Walmart have no idea what a pellet grill is. You know what I mean? That they have no idea what they're buying. And so I can only imagine the number of troubleshooting calls that, if Pit Boss has some kind of number that you call, the number of calls that they get from people that bought their grill from Walmart and they're having trouble with it because nobody's there to answer any questions that they have about it. Nobody at Walmart knows about a pellet grill. You know? So for me, if I'm a grill company, I'm not doing that, because for me, it's all about what you want your brand to be. You know, for example, the hats. I could have bought a very cheaply made hat, But if my brand is going on it, I want it to be a good hat, a well-made hat, a well-fitting hat. So that's just an example. And for me, if I'm a grill company, to me, if I put my products in a Walmart, that's diminishing the value of the quality of my grill, in my opinion. So, and again, you go into a Walmart, you go into a Costco, even at Costco or Sam's, people that go in there and buy pellet grills in there, and there's somebody standing there with that company shirt on, they don't grill any more on those grills than the people at the cash register do. You know? So again, to me, in my opinion, if you're serious about a grill, if you're serious about cooking, then go to a grill company. Go to a barbecue store to buy a grill. You don't go to Walmart, you don't go to Costco or Sam's Club to buy a grill. That's just my opinion. Now, if all you're going to do is flip some burgers and hot dogs and stuff like that, then go to Walmart and get you a grill. I just wouldn't want my grill sitting in a Walmart. That's just me. Go to Walmart. Go to Walmart and look at some of the crazy people that you see walking around Walmart. Some of the craziest people you're ever going to see are at Walmart. And one of them is going to buy your pellet grill. You think they're going to know how to use it? Do you think they're going to read the instructions? No. So to me, it's asking for trouble, in my opinion, and diminishes the value of your grill, in my opinion. Mike. So that mention of Pit Boss made me think of that. What else? So yeah, I did a little homework on the Chimp. So hopefully early this week, I'll do a review on the 780, the new Traeger Pro 780, and then maybe this coming up weekend, I can do a review on the Chimp. So that'll be pretty cool. Yeah, I was trying to be as gentle as I could be, Larry, with I almost said something else about, whether they read the instructions or not. And you probably know where I was going with that. But then I said, no, I better not do that. Better not do that. But I just wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't want my grills sitting in Walmart. Plus, some of the boxes that those grills were in looked like they had been chopped with an axe or something. I mean, they were brutal. So that's kind of my take on the grills at Walmart and pellet grills especially. If you want to get you a cheap gasser or something, or a cheap charcoal grill, then, that's cool. But I just wouldn't buy my pellet grill from there. You got it, Mike. So that was what I had going on this week and what I got going on the rest of the week. We'll do more signs as soon as the patches get here. Miss Piddlin will get to work on putting the patches on the hats. When I got the Kamado Joe at Lowe's, the salesman knew nothing except it's a ceramic cooker. And I was trying to talk a customer into a Grilla instead of a Pit Boss. That's right. That's right. I'm not going to make it. I can tell you I'm not going to make it. Man, Augusta. If any of you guys have ever been through Augusta, you know, Augusta Nationals is beautiful. I mean, that place is beautiful. But man, if you get outside of Augusta Nationals, Augusta's not very beautiful. A couple years ago, me and Brandy were coming back from Bristol. We go through through Augusta to go to Bristol. And we stopped on the way back and got off the wrong. We were stopping to get something to eat, and we saw, signs that say, a couple places to eat. So we got off. Well, I don't know anything about Augusta really, so I didn't know that it was a undesirable part of town until we got off there. I didn't feel very safe. All right, guys, that's about it. About an hour this morning, which is not too bad because I need to get out there and get back to work on the signs. I need to go get some paint a few of them. And then I need to get work editing that video. So, still got some stuff to do today. I bought a cheap gas grill at Walmart, and the drip tray literally rusted away in a year. There's nothing wrong with, I guess the thing is when most everybody knows how to operate a gas grill. But now people are buying these pellet grills and don't even have a clue about a pellet. I mean, they don't know. So if somebody's not there, that's like last year, I guess, early last year, before keto, I had gotten a good pizza crust recipe. We were talking about pizza earlier, and I wanted a nice pizza peel. Well, I went to Walmart and asked for a pizza peel. Asked 3 people, y'all have a pizza peel? None of them knew what a pizza peel was. They didn't know what it was, had never heard of it. So people at Walmart are not going to be able to help you with a grill choice. Kmart. There's a Kmart 20 miles away. It just went out of business. I bought, and Tango, you can see it. By the way, Tango, good to see you, man. Yeah. Pizza peel is like an orange peel. That had no idea what I was talking about. The look on I should have filmed it. It was hilarious. Check with the pharmacy. The first cooking videos that I did on my channel, I was doing it on a charbroil, I think it was charbroil commercial infrared stainless steel gasser that I bought at Lowe's. And I had it for 9 years. I replaced the burners in it once. And it cooked, I cooked anything and everything on that thing. And I had a little smoker box so I could put my wood chips in there. Added great smoke flavor. It was awesome. And I think I paid $350 for it. Lasted 9 years. And still, now it's just 2 houses over at my mother and father-in-law's house. I gave it to my father-in-law, and he's still cooking on it. So that's 9, 10, 11. Now it's 11 years old. So you can get some good deals. like that. Kmart, Walmart, Lowe's, Costco. Kenmore from Sears. And that's it. Take care of it. Man, I have seen some brutal pictures lately of people's pellet grills that look like they just got them out of the dump. I just don't I don't understand how people could spend that much money on a grill like that and just let it go to crap. Good morning, sir. Good morning. Good to have you this morning. But some of them are just terrible. It's kind of abuse. Tango, did you get your pizza oven? Have you worked on your pizza oven some more? I know you were talking about working on that, I think last weekend maybe. But that old gasser, it was a good one. I cooked all kind of stuff on that thing. And it fit into my budget at the time. Once the rain ended yesterday, went out, cleaned a couple of grills, fired up the old jalopy. I've stepped up my grill maintenance game. Mike, that makes me feel better. I'll sleep better knowing that you're cleaning your grill a little bit better. I hear you. Working hard this morning. May mess with the pizza oven before the rain starts today. It's probably not going to be long, Tango. I know it's clouding up and it's going to be windy here. Probably about 2 or 3 o'clock today, it's going to be flooding here. So the new pellet attachment. Yes, Melvin, I saw it. I saw it, Melvin. Holy cow. Maybe it's going to be cool, Melvin. Maybe it's going to be cool. Maybe people may love it. People may love it. That sounds pretty cool, Tango. I've seen those. Curious as to how they were. But yeah, the new pellet attachment for the Weber kettle. I don't know. To me, that's kind of like putting a boat motor on a Cadillac. I just wouldn't do it. That's just one of those things where, if you want a pellet grill, go buy a pellet grill. If you want a Weber kettle, then get a Weber kettle. I hope it was a mock-up. I hope it was a mock-up, Tango, but in this date and time, I would not be surprised if it was legitimate. 5 briskets, 2 butts, 4 racks of ribs. Got those on. Then in a little bit, put on 10 chickens. That sounds very good and sounds like a busy Sunday. That's going to be a good day. Looks like y'all had some rough weather come through that way yesterday. Yeah, Mike, I don't understand it. I don't understand why people want to make charcoal grills into pellet grills and drum smokers into pellet grills, and I don't know. Use it for what it was intended for is the way I look at it. It's pre-order now, not in development stage yet. So they're wanting you to basically they're looking for donors so that they can get it into production. Yeah, well, I think we're fixed to get it today, what y'all got yesterday. So probably not going to be a whole lot going on outside. Rick, that smoker, Rick got a smoker from, was that like a flea market, Rick? And that thing looks like it's built like a tank. That thing looked pretty cool. Yeah, you can. I don't think it's going to help him, Mike, but you can. Heavy fog here now, rain about noon. Tango, y'all have had a rough stretch of weather this year. It's supposed to be windy today too. Yeah, I think we're going to get it. Meadow Creek open house barbecue auction in Pennsylvania. That's cool stuff, Rick. I like going to those things sometimes. You never know what you're going to find there. It might help him out, Mike, if he did. Help his game a little bit. Never even fired up the snowblower. How about that? All right, guys. Well, I'm fixing to edit a video and go make some more barbecue signs, and then start planning the review videos on the Traeger Pro 780 and the Chimp when it gets here. Appreciate all you guys for stopping in this morning and bringing in the day with me. And I hope all your cooks turn out well today. And until next time, thanks, guys, and I'll be piddling.